I feel like this is the movie we would get if Quentin Tarantino, Matthew Vaughn, and the director of John Wick all got together one night, got extremely wasted on really cheap wine, just started bitching about men, and then the next morning started cameras rolling while extremely hungover. That sounds like a knock against this movie, but believe it or not, it's actually a compliment. Gunpowder Milkshake is a new Netflix movie that stars Karen Gillan, who you will immediately recognize as Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers movies. Seriously, she eventually finds her groove as the movie goes on, but at the beginning, she was Nebula, minus the blue makeup. And that's not like a point against Karen Gillan or anything. I know she can act because she did a very different character and was very good at it in the Jumanji sequels. She plays Sam, an assassin who is equal parts The Bride and John Wick. I wasn't kidding about my comparisons. That finds herself going up against those that she used to work for when she sort of goes rogue and saves the life of the 8-year-old daughter of her current target. All the while dealing with some pretty serious abandonment issues. With that setup, it's pretty familiar stuff that we have seen a bunch before, but what sets this movie aside is its ridiculous amount of enjoyable style. Right from the neon lights opening credits to the music to the costumes to the way the camera moves. It's the kind of style that just feels fun, and this movie is. The music is what reminded me of Tarantino. Sam's ability to dispatch all the bad guys around her and remain cool and calm is what reminds me of John Wick. And the absolutely over-the-top fight scenes are what reminds me of Kingsman. None of that reaches the heights of the actual comparisons, but it comes darn close. Enough so that it sets this movie aside as one that's probably gonna stick with me, at least for the most part. Some of the stuff in this movie is a little too on the nose, like the down with men angle. The place Sam used to work for is called The Firm, and it's run by all men. Really? Yeah, alright, I guess this is where we're at now. The rest of the cast isn't anything to scoff at either. Paul Giamatti shows up as Sam's handler, and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones plays her mom. Her aunts are played by Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, and Angela Bassett. Not such a bad lineup. But here's the thing, the aunts run a place called the library, which is really just a place for them to store a whole bunch of guns and ammunition. And while each of the actresses does a fine job, and it's quite fun to see them in roles like this, they play characters that are called librarians. I mean, no, you know, but then, I can't. Moving on. It's not a movie where you can get too nitpicky. As an example, there's this one scene that's actually a really cool scene where Sam is going up against 3 of the bad guys and both of her arms are paralyzed. She's got a gun taped to one hand and a knife taped to the other. So we're watching the movie and we're assuming, okay, this is kind of cool. She can't really move her arms, but she can use her torso to flip her gun up, get the knife in the trigger and bang, 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 bang. But no, she can just flip it and use her finger to pull the trigger. I thought her arms were paralyzed. See what I mean? Don't get too nitpicky and you'll be able to enjoy a pretty bonkers movie. Gunpowder Milkshake gets a solid 7 out of 10. It's a movie that has great style that, while sure, is clearly inspired by other superior movies. It really makes me curious to see what this director is going to do next. So what about you guys? Have you seen Gunpowder Milkshake? It's available on Netflix right now. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out, then come on back, let me know what you thought about it, and I'll see you all in the next one.